Good evening, my name is Gabriel Howes, and today I will be talking about why online learning is worse for student productivity. Some key points that I'm going to be covering include the difference in grades between a student taking online classes and a student taking face-to-face traditional classes. I'll be covering the difference in dropout rates between students attending face-to-face classes and online learning, and I will be covering the difference between the average cost for a online degree and a traditional degree for college students. Now, students every year are more and more students every year are taking online classes, and as more students take online classes, more studies are being done to see how students adjust with those online classes. According to tech.ed.gov, a study was done by the U.S. Department of Education, in which they took two groups of students. One group was a face-to-face traditional setting class, and the other one was an online class. And between these two classes, they were taking the same business writing course and they had the same teacher. However, the how the students did varied very much. The face-to-face classes, they ended the final grade for the students ended up about being 52 of them got in the A range for grade. However, with the online students, only 32% of the students got an A grade, or at least around there. Well, this implies that the online setting for students that hinders some kind of productivity or some kind of ability for them to do work. And typically, what they found is that the lack of communication and the lack of contact between the teacher and the student is a detrimental part of the student's learning experience. Whenever the student is not able to physically go see the teacher or physically be in a classroom, then there's a disconnect in between the student actually applying and wanting to do the work and being productive. Moving on to the next point, the information for this was received at files.eric.ed.gov. What they did is there was two students from Brigham Young University, and they decided to do research in depending on the dropout rates between traditional face-to-face classes and online classes. They ended up figuring out that the dropout rates for online students typically attending colleges was 10 to 20% higher than traditional face-to-face classes. Now, a 10 to 20% difference in dropout rates is a absolutely massive change, and this is they went into detail in describing why they might have dropped out, and some of the causes is typically just as the other study mentioned, the disconnect between being in the classroom and the disconnect between wanting to do the work and having to do the work. So what they found is that the online students did substantially worse than students taking than students taking face-to-face courses. The students taking online classes got lower grades. They were less likely to succeed in similar courses, and they were far more likely to drop out. And this is just simply due to a lack of productivity and a lack of discipline, which is another keyword that's brought up. Moving on to the financial part of why online classes are becoming more and more common among classroom settings is that what I found from potomac.edu, the average cost for a traditional business degree of taking a college student going to a campus and taking the class costed around $85,000 in just regular with tuition. There you go. And just the tuition, the average cost was about $85,000. Now, however, for the same degree, an online degree cost $30,000. Now, this very wide margin is due to multiple different things. Some including the one teacher is able to connect with many more students as they can record themselves doing a lesson and then give that to hundreds, maybe even thousands of students to look at and try and study. Similarly, when a class is taken online, then the facilities do not have to be used. and it's simply just more. It's just a lot cheaper to do so. So, due to the cost of traditional face-to-face classes and how much cheaper online classes are, it's becoming increasingly more. It's becoming increasingly more common among schools as they're trying to make budget cuts and make room for more and more changes that they would like to make in the future. As schools right now, their budgets are becoming less and less due to government funding cuts. They have to try and make do, and the internet is a fantastic way to do so. In conclusion, the connection between a student and the teacher, the student in the classroom even, is a very, very key part in education. And if a student does not have that connection between having to do the work and really putting themselves and applying themselves to do that work, then there could be a fantastic disconnect, and their grades become lower. They are more likely to drop out. They do worse in classes, and their productivity in doing such things is just far, far lower. And this is detrimental to students taking online classes all around the country and even possibly all around the world. Thank you very much. My name is Gabriel Howes, and have a great night.